We were in 2018 with the previous project with competency in February 18. So 5 years later, or more than 5 years later, we are here again. It's a pleasure always to come here to Brawijaya, to Malang, to Indonesia. I will share with you some reflections on the production of online courses. And this is the outline of the presentation. First, I will give some context, some framework. Then I will go into the details of the production, and then I'll finish with some concluding remarks. So I'll make reference to the Industry 4.0, which you are very well aware of. No? These 4 revolutions, starting with the first one, with the invention of the steam, and giving rise to the locomotive, to all kinds of motors, etc., fueled by oil, etc. The second revolution with the arrival of electricity that changed all kinds of industries. The third one based on computing, computer science, and the fourth one, which is based on artificial intelligence. So this same idea of the first industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0, I would like to transfer to the field of education and also identify 4 moments, 4 revolutions that are not substituting the previous one, but are complementing it in interesting ways. So let's start before the first revolution, maybe education 0.0, which is oral education, no support, no tools, but just the oral transfer of knowledge. Then, with the arrival of the printing press, with the book, we can come and talk about the education 1.0, which is like using the blackboard, using the book, here and there, in all kinds of different contexts, and still today this is used. Second level, education 2.0, we've seen from the industry 2.0, electricity. How can electricity help in education? Well, one simple way is the classical overhead projector, which is drawn by hand. You put the slide on the projector, and this is a way of teaching. Of course, you can use also PowerPoint, as long as it's not connected to the internet. It's also a way of using electricity to convey information. Let's move to the third one, which is basically where we are now, no? The majority of the context, which is using cloud computing, using the internet, using computer networks, digital information to convey education. Examples are the learning management systems like Moodle, where the instructor, the teacher puts up the documentation for the students to download, etc. Or these engagement apps like Kahoot, Mentimeter, Socrates, etc., that they use for motivation, for engagement, is also using the cloud as an additional communication between the instructor and the students. Or even the MOOCs with online videos. I have to be a bit closer. Oh, hello. MOOCs with these 3 components which I'd like to focus, namely videos for instruction, formative and summative assessment, quizzes, etc., and the forum for the communication with the students among themselves and also with the participation of the teacher. These are the 3 components in this education 3.0, based on cloud computing, videos, interactive web technologies for quizzes, assessment, and social networks for the communication among students and professors. Now let's move to, moving from 1.0 to 3.0, we're moving from the earth, from mechanical, from physical things to digital things, which are based on the cloud. Now let's move from education 3.0 to education 4.0, where here the fundamental aspect that comes new is artificial intelligence to help in many different ways to give the basis for the education. Of course, there are many other things I will not talk about today, but rather than just having videos, we could have augmented reality, virtual reality as an additional way of just giving life to the videos. Rather than just quizzes on the screen, you could have multimodal ways of participation with vision, with touch, with hearing, etc. And rather than having forums of people, forums with people and robots. I will not talk about artificial augmented reality or multimodal interaction, but we'll concentrate on AI and how this supports education. So this would be the fourth level, Education 4.0, based on artificial intelligence for smart learning environments. Here we are again, 1 mechanical, 2 electrical, 3 digital, and 4th smart. So in this context, how is educational content produced? And I will refer to online content, to microcourses which are online. And let's again concentrate on the 3 aspects I've mentioned before: the videos, the quizzes, and the forums. Let's start with the videos. What do we need to produce videos? Both in the education 3.0 level and in the 4.0. Let's start with videos and 3.0. So what do we have to do to produce videos in education 3.0? Well, there is a phase of pre-production where we have to define the concept of the video, write a script, find supporting resources to accompany the video, and then you move to the production phase where you go to the studio with equipment to do the actual shooting. And then after that, there's a post-production, maybe some addition and addition of subtitles, etc. So this is just the whole phase, the sequence of events that are necessary to produce videos in this cloud-based environment. Let's go through them, these different levels, very fast because it's all well known. For instance, video concept. You have to think, what is the video? Is it one person? Is it an interview? Is it just a screencast? So different ways of producing videos. You have to think about it, think about the settings, the resources needed. So it's just mental production, mental thinking about what is the concept of the video. Then we have to write, as a teacher, as an instructor, a script. So now the background is this, so these are the visual content, and this is what I'm going to talk about. So you can produce this script with the visuals and with the audio, what the professor or professors that appear on screen will say. So you have to prepare this, think about it, etc. And then you have to find resources. So what are the images? What are the sounds? What is the videos maybe that you want to put inside the new video with the appropriate license? If it's going to be public domain or Creative Commons, you have to, and there are different websites and places where you can get the additional resources. So this is the pre-production, and then you go to the studio with the personnel, with the equipment, maybe with a green screen for putting the background, with a teleprompter, or maybe if you just want to do a screencast, maybe you have a nice place where you do this screencast. And then finally is the post-production, where some additional addition, maybe use and all these sounds which are not nice, it's taken away, maybe adding animations or additional content. And then you have to produce the subtitles. There you can see Carlos when he was much younger without beard. Okay, so this is the standard 3.0. We have been doing this for many years. And let's move over now to how this changes in the 4.0 era, in the AI era. It's a difference to the 3.0. So we have the 3 phases: pre-production, think about it, produce it, and then post-produce it. With now the difference that you have tools that convert text to video. Let's give some examples. Okay, let's start, but first with the pre-production. So thinking about the video concept, okay, why don't you ask ChatGPT or some other AI tool to give you ideas on what would be the concept of video? I've done this exercise here. You've been producing MOOCs for many years. Now this is my prompt, and you're an experienced in conveying complex information to learners. You have to give him some, you have to push him, so you have to look for a good response. and you are specialized in Java programming, give me 3 possible ideas to introduce the topic of recursion Java program, or whatever topic it is. And then you get, well, several ideas here. The story of Matryoshka, the domino effect, the mirror reflection. Oh, okay, these are nice ideas, nice concepts from which I can choose one or combine, etc., in order to have this video concept. Second, I need to produce the script. Okay, and then again, I can use an AI tool, produce the scripts for me. And here we have also an example. I need a script for a 10-minute video, introducing whatever, and introduce the concept step by steps. And you get the scene, what is going to be talked, what's going to be shown, some examples, etc. And the results, you can try it. Of course, there are several AI tools. It's quite extraordinary. It's a good support for the teacher to produce this content. And then resources. You don't look for resources anymore to generate them. You make up new images with AI, like this fake image of Donald Trump got by the police, or this image here of the mirrors that I will use to introduce the concept of recursion in programming. You can go to Bing, to DALL-E, to these many tools that are coming up, for instance, and that are improving day by day. Probably you have been using DALL-E 2. Now DALL-E 3 has come out, which is also going to be, or it's already included into Bing image creation. And you see that the detail, the quality of the result from 1, 2, 3, it's improving exponentially. So now the details of the images that you can create can reflect very well what you give in the prompt. You can even improve the resolution of images. If it's a poor resolution, okay, improve the resolution. I don't know how they do it, but they can do it. Or if you start with an image, you can ask it to extend it. Extend, this is this lady with the pearl, no? Okay, extend this. I want to have it larger or even larger, etc., according to what is seen on the image. So resources also generated by AI. And now we come to the production, but we don't go to the studio. Other kinds of resources, AI resources. You go to 11 Labs to generate audio or to generate music. There are a whole set of tools that can help you generate audio and generate music. I will not show it. And then we don't go to the studio to generate the video. And there are many tools that are out there and they're improving day by day that help you generate this video. Let me mention DAD, Runway, HeyGen, InVideo, RAS, Colossian. These are, it can be avatar-based with an avatar who's speaking whatever you give it as a text. And maybe this text has been generated by an AI tool, by generative AI. Maybe reviewed by you to see whether it's correct. This is what you want to say, but with this enormous help of AI. Here we have Carlos. Carlos, now older with beard. He's giving a talk about the gestures in oops, sorry. Let me see here.
En un escenario de docencia síncrona, una herramienta muy importante es el propio cuerpo del profesor, el cual puede modular su tono de voz o utilizar una comunicación no verbal a través de sus gestos para llamar la atención del estudiante.
Okay, maybe you didn't understand because in Spanish, no? But why don't we have him? He speaks English very well, but let's hear him in perfect English with his voice.
Escenario de docencia síncrona.
Sorry, shut up. Here. Okay, and then we have the same text spoken in English. Where is my mouse? Here.
In a synchronous teaching scenario, a very important tool is the teacher's own body. He can modulate his tone of voice or use non-verbal communication through his gestures to get the student's attention.
Very good, no? His voice. But he also speaks German because we have this project here with the German coordinator. So I'm sure he can do it in German as well. Let's see how he does it. And he has to be gender friendly. Nice, sorry. Next one.
In einem synchronen Unterrichtsszenario ist der eigene Körper des Lehrers ein sehr wichtiges Werkzeug. Sie kann ihren Tonfall modulieren oder nonverbale Kommunikation durch Gesten einsetzen, um die Aufmerksamkeit des Schülers, der Schülerin zu gewinnen.
And since we're in Indonesia, this morning, just in 5 minutes, he generated the Indonesian version. Now you can judge whether this is okay or not. It is his voice. Sorry. Yeah.
Pada langkah pertama ini, kita harus membuat pelajar menerima dan kita dapat menggunakan beberapa alat bantu untuk melakukannya.
Good. Well done, Carlos. So, how fast, how efficient can you generate different versions in different languages? This is for Colossian. You have just one start and you localize it to different languages. And with lip sync, the one before was not lip sync, but you can also generate lips. I didn't tell you that in my free time, I sing opera. You don't believe it? I don't have mobile. Let's hear.
La donna è mobile, qual piuma il vento, muta d'accento e di pensiero, sempre un amabile, leggiadro viso, in bianco in riso e menzognero.
I mean, in the picture, there were no teeth, so he invented the teeth. You see, this is not so natural, no? But it doesn't take any time to do this, no? So this is very efficient, and this is based on DAD, although I got it from MICROCASA, which is based on the technology of DAD. And even further, you can personalize the videos for each of the particular students. You start with Hi Linda, and you get, for instance, with Gun AI, hundreds of videos. Hi, whatever, Barbara, Robert, hi Michael, hi Monica. So you can not only change the language, change also what is spoken, localize it, and address the different students individually. Personalized videos, personalized by name, location, with voice, dub, and lip sync. And this is improving every day. Synthesia was before the state of the art of producing avatar-based videos. Now, recently, the version 2.0 of HeyGen has come up, which is incredible. Let me show you the first avatars, which were static, no hands, no movement, no really body language, and the new ones. This is of a YouTuber, carlosantana.csv, and this looks like as it was here. It's not. It's just a generated video with the movements to emphasize what he's talking about. And then the post-production, you do the edition, not with additional tools, but the tools that were used for generating the video. In the post-production, of course, for the subtitles, you can use automatic transcription tools like Merlin or Rio to get the text out of the video automatically. So this was for the production of videos in, well, here I have more examples, but I think for the interest of time, I will not show it. This is what has changed for production of videos in the 3.0, the digital era, and in the AI era. Let's go over to quizzes. Here, well, basically, this is the edX quizzes, different versions. You had to just think about it. No? I've thought this, okay, this is what I will ask, what are the possible responses, these are the correct response, etc. So it's thinking. In the AI era, well, you can generate quiz questions, either with general purpose AIs like ChatGPT or BART or Claude 2 or many others which are around, or with AI-based applications that are specialized on the task of producing these quiz questions like Prep AI or Quillians. I've done the exercise here on the same topic of Java programming to generate 4 questions with 4 responses each. Each of one shall have been 1 correct answer, and the topic is whatever. And I asked it especially to be creative. And here I get from ChatGPT several interesting proposals. Maybe I did not think about it myself. Maybe I was boring, always asking the same thing, but now I can be more creative. You have to be careful because sometimes the proposals are not right. So you have to be always in control and look carefully on what is proposed before submitting this to the students. Here's the same I've done with BART, Google AI. They're not so creative, not so good. I like much more the ones by ChatGPT. And then there are, as I said, I specialized tools like Prep AI or Quillians or Quizlet that use AI for the production, for generation of quizzes. Second, so this was quizzes. And finally, forums, this interaction among students. Before, this is edX, the forum platform. Well, students interacted, students ask the questions, others respond. Maybe the responses are not right, but maybe then other students come up and no, you were not wrong, no, we're not right. This is it. So this interaction among students, and sometimes the professor, not very often, also intervenes. You can use the forums or the MOOC platforms, or you can use specialized tools like EdSTEM. Now, how does this transfer now to the 4.0, to the AI era? Let me mention what David Malang, a professor of computer science of Harvard University, is doing right now as we speak. He has had a test this summer. Now he is deploying this in the course in this winter semester. He has a very famous course called CS50, for which he has made a MOOC also on edX. He has taken this EdSTEM forum where the students interact and added 1 additional character, which is this duck. Before AI, he said to the students, you have to explain, with a program, you have to explain what you've done to somebody, to a colleague. And if you don't have anybody to explain this, take the duck, the rubber duck of the bathroom, and explain it to the rubber duck. And this metaphor of talking to the rubber duck is the character, this AI-based character that he has added to the forum for interaction. Sometimes it does not give right answers, but the same as before. The students sometimes also didn't give the right answers. But it's a way of using AI and, well, in response, most of the time, well, what is being asked. This AI tool can, well, here a list of things I took from a paper of his, explain the code, improve the code, explain some error messages, help students find bugs, assess how the design was, provide feedback, etc. So helping the students with, as it were, a tutor to understand programming. So we've moved from person interaction in education 1.0 and 2.0 to online forums in 3.0, and now to mixed human bot forums in 4.0. This is the big change from the digital 3.0 with the studios, with the quizzes and the forums, to the AI-generated videos, AI-generated quizzes, and forums where this AI tool participates as well. Of course, you have to take into account that this is the state of the art today. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, but it's improved enormously. The field is advancing very fast, exponentially. But also you have to take into account that the AI right now can have hallucinations, give wrong answers. So you have to be always critical and very carefully look at the responses that are being done. Let me mention finally that the platforms, MOOC platforms, other platforms are also evolving and introducing AI-based tools. This is what edX, to you edX is doing. What is in gray, light gray is what is coming up. which is the most interesting thing, this learning assistant or this co-pilot for authors and instructors. First of all, they have started with the more dissemination aspects to find courses, to do viral sharing, to help in unit summary, etc. Coursera is doing something similar. And the interesting thing is the one below, this real-time personalization or this personalized learner digest to motivate the students to help them in their learning and to have even recommendations of the forum. Look at this place where the response to this question you have posed is answered. Other tools like Khan Academy have also introduced additions based on GPT-4. One is called Khanmigo, which is a Socratic tutor that helps students learn. And if the students ask, what is the answer to this question? They would not provide the answer. They said, no, think about this, reflect about this in order to get the answer by yourself. So in a Socratic way, in order to improve learning. The same is true for Duolingo by Luis Fornan, this Guatemaltecan professor of Carnegie Mellon, who has introduced Max, which is a AI-based tool to help explain answers, can lay roles in different contexts, and in this way help the students. This is all still under development, but it's very interesting developments coming up. And there are also other platforms coming out. Like in particular, I'd like to mention Knowledge, Knowledge, that can take a video or a blog post or a PDF and convert this static information, this document, into educational content and produce interactive video, interactive books, flashcards for better learning, quizzes, simple quizzes, but also conceptual quizzes. And games like crosswords, etc., summaries, glossaries. So all kinds of additional educational content on the basis of this first video or blog post that you have submitted. So the production of microcourses is now immensely enhanced. Let me give some concluding remarks, like some reflections. We have seen how AI 4.0, AI-based tools are making the production of microcourses, of online content much more efficient, much more creative even for us as a help to the instructor. We are seeing also that the improvement is coming every day. Let me show you the videos that were produced in April, where you see some errors, conceptual errors that doesn't make sense, here many hands, and 100 days later, how this is improving enormously, much more smooth, much more realistic, less errors, etc. So every day, a good improvement. Platforms are evolving, introducing these AI-based tools, and others like Knowledge are appearing. And we are seeing right now renaissance in MOOC or online course production and deployment. For production, having AI as a co-pilot, as an assistant to the teacher, in order for him or her to become more efficient and to have more options, adaptations to the language, to the localization, to the personalization of each of the individual students. And also for deployment, as a help, as an assistant, as a companion to the student, as a Socratic tutor, as a participant in forum debates, and to give personalized reinforcement learning. Still, there are many questions open, many things to be solved, like intellectual property. Are the images on which an image creator was trained really taking all the steps in order to use the intellectual property? There's now a big debate about it, and the lawyers will have to solve it somehow, on the quality of the results and the biases. So regulation is needed really to solve these problems, as it was when the train was come. No, at the beginning, many people were against it because not everything was solved. It needs time to solve this. Always the laws come after the technology. So we need some time, but I'm sure that some solutions will be found. So not everything is solved, but I'm sure it will come in. And the other final remark is don't judge generative AI on the affordances today, because the investment is so large, all the companies investing so much that in a few months we will even see more impressive results. OpenAI is working on GPT-5, Google is working on Gemini, and some of the things are not yet. Vertex AI is also, it was only for companies, for payment, was not open to the general public. Now it's being opened again. So some of the things you don't see because not open to the public for companies, which is a big business behind, but sometimes also it's open to the general public. So we see what is going on. So many things going on, investment, huge investment, millions and millions of dollars or rupees or euros in order, because this is a big change for all industries at all. We have not talked about other industries. We are talking just education, but for other industries, this is also a big change. Probably we'll see, as we have seen before in the year 2000, a dot-com bubble, many apps coming up and disappearing because they didn't reach it, or with the railway mania. So we'll probably see a .ai bubble, but some companies will survive and will give excellent results. So this is my final slide, no? Don't be surprised, but this is an exponential improvement, and educational production of microcourses will change radically much more, as I have shown now. Thank you very much.